Are you ready?
Yeah, turn up the heat.
Are you ready?
Is he ready?
Oh, yeah, he's ready.
It's go time.
Ready to go beyond the scores and stats.
I love it.
Good.
Let's bring it in. It's showtime, right?
Welcome to High on Sports.
The whole deal is like some kind of crazy game.
Exclusively on MorningShowCentral.com.
Hello, and welcome to High on Sports. I'm Robbie, and with me, as always,
Ashley.
And I am Von Erich.
And whether you're joining us tonight on one of the many glorious apps or at home on your computer, thank you for making High on Sports a part of your evening. If you are not listening on one of the many glorious apps, take your smartphone and simply download the TuneIn Radio app. It is free to download. Just install it. Search MSC Radio Network, hit play, and you're listening to us live on the go, and you hit the little heart thing, and it puts us in your favorites. And honestly, I got to say, this is like it's one of those like user testimonial things. I have the app, and it's like, they're not like a paid thing or something, but I can tell you, like, it's a really great app, honestly. You get to listen to us wherever you go, and a bunch of other great stuff. It's just great. I use it all morning. Got to stream it with the headphones and everything. It's just great.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on
Oh, absolutely. And remember, as always, you can call the show toll free 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at morningshowcentral.com. You can find us on Twitter at high_on_sports or use the hashtag high-on-sports. And, of course, facebook.com/high-on-sports is the fan page. Go ahead and give it a like if you haven't already. And the website is high-on-sports.net. It's got the archive of all our past shows, the blog with weekly contributions by Mark, and so much more. Again, that is high-on-sports.net. All right, we have a busy show for you. It is round one. Let's go. All right, actually joining us at, I believe about 7:10 is the plan. We will be joined on the phone line by News Channel 5 Sports Director Andy Baskin, also of Baskin and Phelps. He'll be with us at about, like I said, about 7:10 to talk, Browns, Buckeye. Really just cry about the Buckeyes with us. We're just gonna cry on air. We'll see if we'll get him to cry with us, maybe. Maybe he'll be willing to cry over the phone with us.
That was so sad.
Indians in their winter meetings, all that, and a lot of good local stuff to get to. But until then, let's talk about this. It is the return of a beloved High on Sports little friendly competition. This one's not really for prizes, it's more for bragging rights or whatever. I wouldn't know what other people win because I'm the only person that's ever won it.
You know what?
Every year that we've done. So
Calm yourself, because was it last year or the year before? I was like owning it.
You were, and then I passed you at the end. This is the 2013, forgot what year it was, 2013-2014 High on Sports Bowlapalooza-thon.
I shall dethrone you.
It is pretty straightforward. You just send us your picks to all 35. We're going to post a list.
There's 35 now?
35.
Jesus.
I made up a little pretty list of all 35. We'll post it on the Facebook a little later tonight. And you can just reply with that. Just comment on that with your picks, and you'll be entered into our leaderboard where we'll post, how everybody's doing after each bowl and stuff, and just really see who gets to look like the second smartest after me. So it's all good fun. But I was going through the bowls today to type them all up and get them in a neat little list. First of all, yeah, there's a lot of bowls. 35 is ridiculous. And some of these are just, Ohio, I'll start by saying that Ohio is not very well represented this year. We have, I think 3 schools counting Ohio State.
Bowling Green's going.
Bowling Green versus Pittsburgh
They
in the Little Caesars.
upset Northern Illinois.
The Little Caesars Pizza Bowl in Detroit.
Hey, let's go, BG.
Playing in Ford Field. Ohio University in the Beef O'Brady's St. Petersburg Bowl against East Carolina. So we got that. And, of course, Ohio State playing in the BCS National Championship. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That's a typo.
Right, we lost.
In the Discover Orange Bowl against Clemson.
You know what? It's still a BCS bowl.
Sure.
Hey,
you know what? Now, this is the end of the BCS, and this is the last year of it, right? So we can look back and say that Ohio State, with 10 BCS Bowl appearances, has been named to more BCS Bowls than any school in history. And that will go down that way. That can't change now because this is it. Unless playoffs don't work and they bring back the BCS, although I find that to be highly unlikely. Of course, it all culminates with the Vizio. God, that's the hardest thing about all this, is like you hear it and you think like,
names.
oh, the Gator Bowl, But it's like the TechSlayer.com Gator Bowl. And it's so smart because they get the advertisement, like they have to. Like we can't, some of these, like we can't even, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, we can't bring that up without saying Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know, like those are the smart ones. The TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl, now I can just as easily, I can just say Gator Bowl. It just sounds funnier when you extend it like that. I can say, oh yeah, Nebraska versus Georgia in the Gator Bowl. That's a decent matchup, but I'll tell you what, Nebraska. I looked at most of these, and my main thought through all this was Big Ten. You better show up because things like this, all right? Nebraska, like I just said, Gator Bowl, Nebraska versus Georgia, all right? The ones that people will remember are the high profile, how the big SEC schools do, the Alabamas and the like, you know. And anyways, the bigger things like that, the Alabama, LSU guys like that, will be the ones people pay attention to. But if we really want to bring the Big Ten forward and at least to the level of an SEC, they need to beat them at the back end, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, like Georgia is having a down year, and Georgia lost their quarterback, Aaron Murray, for the rest of the season. So, I mean, this is a time where Nebraska needs to go out and beat Georgia. We need to show that our lesser teams can take out the lesser teams. It's one thing in a heavyweight matchup; those can go either way and stuff like that. But you know, we need to just across the board. We need all of the Big Ten schools to show up and play some bowl caliber football. Where's another matchup I got here? Iowa LSU in the Outback Bowl. That's another smart one. That's sponsored by Outback, right? That's not just right. Duh. I was thinking. I'm dumb. I was like,
Iowa got LSU.
For a second, I thought it's like, oh, that's so cool that they put like a bowl in Australia and stuff. And then I remembered I'm an idiot. But although now I'm a little mad that they don't have a bowl in Australia. Why is the Outback Bowl not played in Australia?
Because no one in Australia gives a crap about football.
So what?
They're just running around with their dingoes and kangaroos.
Anyways, Iowa LSU, that's another near identical example because LSU lost Zach Mettenberger. They lost Zach Mettenberger for the season. So it's another situation where Iowa, you need to get out there. Iowa was, they gave Ohio State a run for their money this year. Right? And the only way to make Ohio State retroactively look better is to go out there and have these little guys beat up on their guys. But Iowa LSU, that doesn't even sound fair.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, where is it if it's not? It's in Florida. Okay. Well, that's sort of LSU.
That's close.
That's their
it's a lot closer than Iowa.
You're well, it's that's the swamp. I mean, whether you like it or not, that's just how it's going to be. It seems like, and that's another thing, honestly, that nobody ever brings up with the SEC. Something that favors it is where a lot of these bowls and stuff are played. It's December. It's January. Everybody's going to where it's warm. All of these are played in Florida and Georgia and LSU and stuff. I'm not really sure they go out west and everything, but I mean, almost all of these bowls are played where it is warm and where it's a home field advantage to the SEC. Where's one I thought was interesting? Where's the New Orleans Bowl? Let me see if I can find that. That's R&L Carriers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these companies I literally have not even heard of. RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Played in, New Orleans. You guessed it. It's Tulane versus Louisiana Lafayette. That's two teams from New Orleans playing each other in New Orleans. I mean,
that's probably why they got the bowl.
Exactly. I mean, that'll be
it's a nothing bowl, so they gave it to Louisiana.
It'll be a nice crowd. It'll be a nice crowd. I mean, and this is where the bowl, like the picking bowls and stuff gets really interesting, is because you get to some of these bigger bowls and stuff like that, and some of them you just kind of know how they're gonna go, or that everybody has their opinions of it. It's all these little ones. Ohio, East Carolina.
Yeah, who the hell? How can you? Never even heard of them.
Exactly. You've never heard of? Well, you've heard of Ohio.
Yeah, I've heard of Ohio, but
You've
not.
Never heard of the East Carolina? What are they?
Oh, are they blue? Like a light blue?
Purple, right? They're purple.
Oh, then I'm thinking of someone else.
Like,
I have no idea who they are, and I don't really care.
They're a pirate, I believe. Actually,
I thought they were. I thought they were like a light blue.
No, I think you're thinking of something else. All right, we're gonna, we'll table the college football bowl talk and come back to it here in a little bit. But I believe we have Andy Baskin on the line. Mr. Baskin, are you there?
What's up, boys?
Hey, how's it going, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's going on?
Hey, well, let's get right into this. It was a terrible weekend. football-wise. No easy way around it.
Good point.
I'm a Menor grad, too, so, it hit me on all
Hey,
three
those
fronts.
guys played their hearts out. Connor Krasanzik is a tough kid, man. I'll tell you, they all played. Doherty looked great. You know what? They played as hard as they could, and they went up against a quarterback. That kid's going to be doing great stuff in D1 somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
it was a great, I think the public school is a great ride.
Oh, yeah. You got to love it. But let's start on the Browns. First of all, overall feeling, this was an emotional roller coaster. Overall feeling walking out of the game, do you feel bad thinking about what was left on the table, or do you feel good that they ran with the big dogs for most of 4 quarters?
Let me make sure I'm on the same page here. We're talking Browns, right?
Browns and Patriots, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. You know what? They showed yesterday that anything can happen in the NFL, and if they don't fall apart in the last 2 minutes of the game, that they could have had a chance to win that thing. So, considering what we all thought was going to happen earlier in the week, they played pretty well. And, Campbell gave them a great game, and they did some things. Josh Gordon continues to grow and continues to do some things that are impressive for this team. So, I'll chalk yesterday's up as a moral victory, which means nothing. But at least, like Chud had said, they're a young team and they're growing, and it's not a fun loss because I think they got railroaded by the refs at the end. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that let them score 5 times in a row. So, it is what it is.
Exactly. You can't. They allowed themselves, I should say, to be put in that position. So, it only goes so far. I want to talk about something though. My personal favorite thing in football is I'm a draft junkie.
Okay.
How long until you start, letting yourself look ahead to draft, or do you still sort of keep it on?
You got to do it now. You got to do it now. I mean, it's. I didn't want to be this way, and last week I kind of turned the corner and said, all right, well, here's where we are. We got to start looking at the draft because, even if they beat New England yesterday, you can, what if they a glimmer, a slight little tiny hope of trying to be in the hunt. So I think you realistically have to watch every college football game. Like, who is this guy, and is he going to play for the Browns?
Exactly. I was a big Derek Carr fan for a while. I admittedly I kept an eye on the draft a lot sooner than I should have. I would kind of hope for some miracle scenario where we finish 500, but then still get a good quarterback. And I don't know what I was thinking, but
well, let me ask you this: do you think that Jason Campbell and Brian Hoyer have made an argument to at least have a shot next year if you go out and get a first-round quarterback, and if you don't expect him to play day one?
Oh, I
think those guys, Hoyer for sure has earned a shot,
Absolutely.
and at least having the opportunity to compete for the number one job. If one of these college kids comes in here, whether it's Carr or Bridgewater or somebody, if they keep losing, the higher the pick's going to be. So, or the kid from Central Florida whose name keeps coming up. But, if one of these guys comes in here and they're not ready to go, I think Hoyer has definitely earned the shot to at least have a chance to be the starting quarterback next year. I'm not saying it's going to be it all season, but they need to figure out what it's going to take. And the Browns have it on the wall out in Berea. Look, we will be bold, and we will have a championship-caliber quarterback, and that's where they are right now.
I absolutely love that thinking about it, because we do have 2 guys that are, at the very least, look serviceable. To go out there and at least keep, your head above water and everything. But I worry more and more about how the NFL is, with you got to get a quarterback as early as you possibly can. To me, it's almost becoming like the NBA. Like, you need to be drafting at the very top. You need to go get your superstar, or else what's the point? Do you think in this day and age, do you think it's even plausible that the front office decides to get a quarterback that we wait on and we, sit on and let it percolate, or whatever you want to say?
Well, did you think they were going to trade Trent Richardson? I think these guys are going to do whatever they want to do. They don't care what the fans think. They don't care what media. They don't care what media people think. They're going to do whatever they think can make this franchise better. And if it means they're going to have to wait for a couple seconds, they're going to have to wait. Look at the mess with RG3 right now in Washington. And if you go back to last year, you got Andrew Luck and you got Russell Wilson. Miami is Miami, and I've always been kind of a firm believer that you kind of have to hold back just a little bit on the quarterback to let him get his sea legs. I think you throw guys out there just aren't that many Andrew Lucks. And the more you hear, like, Mariota's dropping out and, who's coming back or what's doing this, it just seems like the talent pool isn't as strong as it was even a month ago. But you know what happens? We get towards the draft, we get to the combine, and Mel Kiper Jr. says, "Oh, this guy's the guy you got to take," and then everybody gets hot on him, and we play this energy game where we're like, "Oh, this guy's the greatest," or "Oh, this guy's the greatest," and you know what? You don't know until you actually see him on the field.
I think a lot of people, forget some of the other instances of things happening as like like Tom Brady, obviously. I know that's diving in the rough sort of thing. And then there's other situations like some would say Aaron Rodgers, possibly the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, how long did he sit there waiting for Brett Favre to leave? And
well, it's the same thing as Brian Hoyer, and it's like I'm so tired of the hey Brian Hoyer. Well, he got cut from New England. Oh, why didn't he make it in Arizona? Whatever. It is what it is. And we saw what he could do in his couple weeks with the Browns. He was efficient with the offense. He looked like he just fit right in. The guys trusted him. I want to see him. I want him to get a chance next year. And even if it means you've got a first-round quarterback that's going to be sitting on the bench for a little bit. I know the money's the big deal, and people are like, oh, you got to get that guy on the field. But you know what? You don't. And if it means Brian Hoyer starts for a season and you make the playoffs, oh my God, playoffs? Wow, that would be great, wouldn't it? I just want to see this team play out in December once.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Let's move on to the other one of the other heartbreaking moments of this weekend. Obviously, Ohio State. This was just it was rough. There's no sugarcoating it. It was rough. Do you buy how do you feel about where the Big Ten is right now? Are you with the national media as, one notch above whatever the Big East is calling themselves now? And
no, Ohio State's a competitive team. That's a top 10 team. And guess what? Michigan State is too. The conference though needs to step it up, and it's all perception because the SEC has won so many national championships in a row. Let's see what happens next year when you go to 4 teams, and you're probably going to get a team from the Big Ten in there. I'm sure the SEC will be screaming, we need to have 3 teams in this playoff. Auburn was 0-8, 3-9 last year, and Missouri wasn't even in the SEC. So if you're going to talk about your great teams in that conference, where'd they come from last year? So I respect the SEC. They are the best conference. I can't argue that. And they play great offensive football in the SEC. Whereas the Big Ten's got problems. We've got issues in the Big Ten when it comes to recruiting and it comes to having respect on a national level. You need more quarterbacks like Drew Brees to come through the system at schools other than Ohio State to make things competitive. Maybe Connor Cook now, because of what happened on Saturday night, starts getting more national recognition. Maybe people start thinking of Michigan State a little bit more than they did going into this weekend. Look, Michigan State's number 4 in the country right now. So if this thing ended if we had the 14 playoff, guess who would be in it? Michigan State.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, the state of Alabama would have 2 teams in that playoff right now, which is just ridiculous to think about. I have a Braxton Miller question, something I haven't heard people talk about much, and maybe there's not much to it at all, but do you think it's plausible that he goes to the NFL after this season?
There's a lot of talk about it. It's still a mystery question. The guys I've talked to in Columbus don't have the answer. He needs another year in college. Terrell Pryor needed another year. Unfortunately, what happened to him, but I think Braxton needs another year, and that's all there is to it. He just doesn't. Do you see him as an NFL quarterback right now? I don't.
No. I don't. Not at all.
No.
And I'm also a big Ohio State fan, so I obviously want to see him stay.
Well, I am too. I love Ohio State. I worked in Columbus for 5 years, and I hosted the John Cooper Show for a little bit. And it's the program that. The other thing that's been really bothering me the last 2 days is, the 24-game winning streak doesn't mean anything. Ohio State's back to rock bottom again. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And let's see what they can do against Clemson. Hopefully they can. If they win, it's going to change a little bit of minds. You end the season with 1 loss. It does mean something. But the garbage of college football is what you do today affects you next year, and it shouldn't. It's not right when you consider that a quarter of your team normally turns over on almost every Division I campus.
Absolutely. Do you think Ohio State got snubbed? They announced. I should say. In regards to the Heisman, they announced today no Buckeyes making the list, despite pretty decent seasons by Miller and Hyde. Did they get snubbed, or does it not even matter because this is Jameis Winston's thing running away?
It's Jameis Winston's right now. He's got it. You're the number 1 team in the country. He's going to win it. If Carlos Hyde would have played the first couple games of the season, I think he would legitimately have had a shot. And if Urban Meyer would have played him right on Saturday night. Go back and look. He touched the ball, I think, 3 or 2 times in the fourth quarter against Michigan State. When you go back and look at his runs in the third quarter, plus 12, plus 8, plus 5, plus 8. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking on an offensive scheme to go away from Carlos Hyde after they tied the game. They should have just stayed on the Hyde train. That's what they should have done.
Absolutely. And that fourth and what was it? 1, 4th and 2?
Yeah, and they ran the rollout instead of giving it to Hyde.
Exactly. It made me sick.
Oh, that was stupid.
Ugh. But I mean, but I look at it optimistically. They're in a BCS bowl. They finished with the most BCS bowl appearances, I believe, by any division school.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, look, the program is Ohio State, and even when Tressel was going through all the program is bigger than the coach. It's always going to be bigger than the team, but they need to retool on defense. It's just, you look at the defense and you say, is this really Ohio State? There's no depth at linebacker. The defense wasn't what we expect out of Ohio State defenses. And go back in history of Ohio State, that team is always rooted in having a great defense and having a linebacker that you say, man, that guy's got a shot for the butt kiss. Not this year. I didn't see any of that this year.
I mean, I thought Shazier was good, but you can't deny that he took plays off big time. He really was iffy as to when he was going to show up.
Yeah, and Roby was overrated at times, and there were against Indiana he looks great, against Illinois he looks great, but then you go into Saturday's game and you're like, okay, where's Roby? Where are these guys? The defense is going to go through, I think, a mental overhaul too by next year. We had talked a little bit today about this and just wondering what Luke Fickell's future is going to be on this team because it just doesn't seem like he fits the system.
Now, do you think he's a guy that could have coaching potential elsewhere? Obviously, a smaller school.
Yeah. I mean, any guy that spent 1 year at the helm of Ohio State's got a shot somewhere else. I think that he'll, I definitely think he'll get a MAC shot or a MAC level shot, something like that. I'm trying to think of the school of Boca. There's a guy that was an SID at Ohio State that worked his way up into the Boosters Club. His name's Pat Chun, and he is now down at, I can't remember the name of the school. It's in Boca Raton, Florida Atlantic. And there had been rumors about him wanting to go down there. I know Pat knows him. It'd be interesting to see if that would be a place where he would land. That's a program that's going to be on the rise. Like, you hear about all these little Florida schools that seem to start popping up. They just got a brand new stadium. They had a naming rights deal that they ended up changing out. But they're a team that somewhere down the road they're going to have a little bit of fun. And if they brought a guy like Luke Fickell down there to recruit, it could be an interesting situation.
Yeah, that'd be pretty exciting. I mean, even if it was potentially the worst season they've had in about a decade, you're still, at the helm of Ohio State. And yeah, you're right. That absolutely would do a lot for his prospects.
Tell me how many collector's items is it worth it more if you've got a football signed by Earl Bruce, John Cooper, Luke Fickell, and Urban Meyer? Yeah, because Luke's name on there is, hey, that was the guy that was there for a year. That's what it's going to be like in 10 years. It'll be like, wow, you've got all the Ohio State coaches on that football. If you think about the history and tradition of Ohio State, that's what his legacy will be.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit of baseball. I know it's off season, but first day of winter meetings today. Do the Indians, are they going to do anything, or was all the spending last year?
I don't know. I think it was last year at this point. Unless something falls into their lap, I think they'll try to do. They've got to shore up another starting pitcher. They've got work to do. They signed Cooper to a major league deal today. So I don't know if that's the big off-season splash, and that so be it. But you're losing your bullpen guys left and right, and they're going to have to figure out a way to fix it. And to see Joe Smith go off to Anaheim, and I don't know what's going to happen with Ubaldo. I'd love for this thing to play out in the end of the season, or at the end of the free agent season, and Ubaldo not have a team, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I'm coming back to Cleveland." I mean, if you think about it, that's how. That's how the Indians are going to have to figure out a way to get this done. I don't know. They've always got to figure out a weird way to get a quality player on the team. And, they did it last year with Swisher, and they did it with Bourne, too. So hopefully they can find another diamond in the rough because that's what they do.
Yeah, there's also talk coming out, supposedly they've talked to Grant Belfour, the closer. But I'm hearing a lot of closers' names come up, but nothing really seems to materialize there, but I hope they know what they're doing as far as Chris Perez. Do you think that was the right move?
Yeah, he's done. He was fried. He was toast. I can't even believe that he was even on the playoff roster. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve to be on the playoff roster. He was a mess, an A1 mess. And sometimes that happens to guys in the bigs. It's just you end up, you're on a team and things are really, really good, and for a closer, it changes on a dime. And the next thing you know, they're just fried and they need to go somewhere else, and that's just what happens. It's all confidence, and I still think that eventually Major League teams are going to start going to guys that can get 6 outs or maybe even 9 outs at the end of the game because they're going to pay less for a guy that can come in at the end of the game and close and get, take it through the 8th and the 9th, and maybe not use them as often. But I think financially, the closer could be something that's teetering on the edge of being, useless at some point.
That's interesting. One more. I'm sorry. Something about the baseball, not pertaining to the Indians. Sorry about that. Is it's the Mariners going out west. Just the biggest move probably this offseason, you could argue. What's your thoughts on that strategy? Just a small market team banking all of it on a big superstar coming into town, but now their pockets are sort of empty as far as going to get any pieces to put around him. I mean, do you?
Yeah, but Seattle's not the same as Cleveland as far as being a small market team. Seattle has big money behind that franchise, and they've never been scared to spend money. The hard part is trying to get guys to play in Seattle because you're so isolated there. There are no close games when you play in Seattle. They were like one of the first teams in Major League Baseball to get a plane that had live TV in it because, their closest game is Oakland. I mean, there's nothing close for those guys. So Seattle's a really tough place to play Major League Baseball, and I think that's the one thing that hurts them. They just don't have. If Portland had a team, it might change things a little bit. Portland is probably the only other city I can think of that, or Vancouver. I don't know if they want to ever put a team in Vancouver. It's not an easy place to play because you're constantly in the air when you're playing there. That's why I think they have trouble bringing in some big names sometimes. But it's a great place to play. It's a great city. It is just a great market. And the owners of that team, they've got money to spend. They don't play on the same level as the Indians do. They might appear to be that way, but they don't have to be that way.
Just something I've always found interesting about, not to really, hang on to Seattle, but I've always found it interesting to me that it seemed like a tale of two cities, really, when you look at the football team they're bringing to the field right now versus the baseball team, and the level of competition there, and it just baffles me that the Seahawks are one of the dominant teams in the NFL now. Yet you look at the Mariners and they're still, struggling. Do you think there is any merit to the thought of potentially a salary cap or something like it making its way to baseball, just sort of evening out the competition?
Well, we should hope for Mark Shapiro to become the next commissioner then, because I don't know that he can even pull it off. But they've got to figure out a way to have equal distribution. But they are getting money through these TV contracts, and they're trying to weigh things out. And, you could make the argument the Indians made the playoffs this year. And you can make the argument that Pittsburgh made the playoffs this year. And Cincinnati's in the playoffs. I mean, we're all about the same size. So they turn around and say, well, look, New York and Boston have all the money to spend, but, they didn't all make the playoffs. And Cleveland's making the playoffs, and Pittsburgh made the playoffs. The problem for the Indians is they believe that, and this is what I believe from spending 6 years on basically traveling with the team, is that things are cyclical, and they're going to go up and they're going to go down. They're going to go up and they're going to go down. They just have to make sure they spend their money in the right way. Last year it seemed to be one of those one of the years where the money got spent in the right way.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, another name I'm hearing now for the Indians at the winter meetings is Jason Hamill from, I believe, Baltimore. But now there's talks that he may also pass out of the Indians' price range. So
let's see. Just let it play out. I mean, that's the one thing about. I mean, I say that about everything, but we sit here and we speculate and we do hot stove all day, and it's just, you know what? The Indians are going to be able to get who they can get, and you probably aren't going to be excited with who they land. And I think we've all learned that over the last couple of years.
Fair point.
That Bourne was the better sign last year. Bourne was the big name sign for last year. And while Swisher, they might have tried to sell it to you, the fact that they were able to get in the game and get Bourne for multiple years, I think, was the coup. Might have been the coup of this regime over the last 5 years.
Fair point. He's been productive. I'm really digging the outfield right now. Quick final question about
Sure.
the Indians and everything. Something you did bring up that technically they made the playoffs and technically Pittsburgh made the playoffs. Now, obviously, this year it was great because the Indians got it. But do you like this expanded playoff system? This one game
I love
you're
it.
in?
No, I think it should be best of 3. At the worst, it should be best of 3. But I love the fact that teams now have that more teams have an opportunity, and it keeps more teams in it in August and September, and that teams that might have been out of it before now are playing meaningful games in September, and they now have the opportunity. You know, the crazy thing is what the Indians finished a game behind Chicago, 2 games behind Chicago. Now, I don't know. You know, it was floated at the end of the season.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, it ended up being just
but,
a game. Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think it's good for baseball. But I do think it should be best of 3.
Agreed. I don't like the one game. I just feel like it's against what baseball is all about. But I do like the idea.
It doesn't feel like the playoffs. It feels like, game 163.
Exactly. It feels like, breaking a tie. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we're going to have to get going. But I do want to personally thank you for coming on with us. Honestly, I love the show. You and Jeff Phelps do great stuff. I listen whenever I can. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, we can get you in studio sometime. That would just be great. But,
no worries. All right, well, let's try to make that happen.
All right, absolutely. Thanks again, Mr. Baskin.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Bye.
All right, bye. That's a good guy.
He is.
Good guy knows his stuff too. Obviously, you don't get where he is without knowing your stuff. But we're gonna take a quick break now, and when we get back, you're gonna find out what's urinating us off. We're gonna talk a little Cavaliers. We didn't get to talk much Cavaliers with them, but they suck right now. So
they won 3 out of their last 4.
Save it
They're
for
turning
second
it
half.
around.
3 down on that. So much for this night sports on the MSC Radio Network.
Oh, great. Not another Farmville request. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Morning Show Central. Denying one Farmville request at a time. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment. And they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket printing supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com.
MSC Radio Network has just tweeted the following. This bowel movement won't come out.
Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/MSC Radio Network. User-friendly and ready to serve. MorningshowCentral.com. Call the show toll-free. 1-888-668-0742. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network on MorningshowCentral.com. MSC Radio Network is teaming up with Toys for Tots and making the holidays brighter. Bring an unwrapped toy to the MSC studios located at 1419 East 40th in Cleveland. Donation days and hours are at MSCRadioNetwork.com.
Oh, wow. Language.
Okay, he was PMSing.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
This is President Barack Obama, and you're listening to MSC Radio Network.
Pete 99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and storm monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com.
Yo, it's Woody. Now, I know a thing or two about women, and I want to help all the ladies out there take care of their men. Happy Endings Orgasmically Organic Massage Oil. Yeah, I said orgasmically organic, made right here in Cleveland. Now, no other product delivers this level of purity and performance. It's guaranteed to improve your overall experience and keeps that sensitive skin soft and smooth. Guys, don't be a tool. You're doing it anyway. Might as well do it right. Get your happy ending at happyendingsoil.com. That's happyendingsoil.com. If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningshowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com.
I know. Oh my God, I know what we're gonna do. Oh, it's so delicious, I can almost taste it.
If you're looking for the best sub shop in town, look no further. Hanini Subs, located at 7310 Lorraine Avenue, is the place for you. Stop in for a cold cut sub, cheeseburger and fries, wingdings and fries, and so much more. I can almost taste it. Hanini Subs at 7310 Lorraine Avenue is open 24 hours a day. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/burrito crazy. And if you mention MSC Radio Network, you'll get $1 off your meal. It's all good at Hanini Subs.
So damn good.
Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits. A 99.5% uptime guarantee and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. 99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. MSC Radio Network is teaming up with Toys for Tots and making the holidays brighter. Bring an unwrapped toy to the MSC studios located at 1419 East 40th in Cleveland. Donation days and hours are at mscradionetwork.com. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and storm monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com.
back to High on Sports. I'm Ralphie, and with me, as always,
I'm Ashley, but I'm partially blind from that
And
light.
I am Von Erich, and I can see just fine.
it's a good thing no one on
Well,
this
you didn't
show
look
is
into
an
it. Stop that!
Why
I
would you look right into it?
I didn't know what was happening, and I looked up, and oh my god!
First off, our thanks again to Mr. Andy Baskin of
Thank
Baskin
you,
and
sir.
Phelps and News Channel 5 for joining
Good
us on the
dude.
phone.
He's good people.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we'll have
The
him
best
back again
people.
on the show soon.
Absolutely. Good guy, good guy. And remember, as always, you can call the show toll-free, 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at morningshowcentral.com. The Twitter's at high_on_sports. And the Facebook is facebook.com/high-on-sports. And the website is high-on-sports.net. All right, that's enough plugs, because I want to get to something, though, is Toys for Tots. We got, what, one more week of it. Next Monday is our last day?
Yes, 7 more days.
7 more days for the MSC Radio Network Toys for Tots program. We already have roughly 1 billion toys, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's around there.
Estimate.
I lost count after 500,000.
Several billion toys. No, come on. No, there's no such thing as too much toys when it comes to these little tots. And you know, just helping make somebody's Christmas bright. You know, this is Christmas. It's time, you know, if you got a lot, you give a little. That's how Christmas, or something. That's something heartwarming. Give some toys. Bring some toys, people. Get them down here. Like I said before, you know, if you know us in real life, give us the toys. We'll bring them in for you. You'll get your credit. Don't worry. You'll get your good karma, your brownie points with Santa. Or you can bring them to the studio. And the address, of course, is
1419.
Yeah.
1419. East 40th.
East 40th. I drive here all the time, and I don't.
I never knew the address. Well, no, I didn't. I knew the address the first time I came here, because
It
that's
is
how I found
literally
it.
on a gate as we drive in. Like,
Yeah.
it is right there.
What's out front now? A dragon? We have a dragon out. Is it a dragon?
Is there
Or
still
no,
a
it's a
Dragon
snake.
or a two-headed snake?
It's
I don't
the
know.
snake. We have a snake out front.
A poisonous
An
trouser
aquatic-
snake is out front.
It's an aquatic snake.
All right, it is round 2. Let's go. Okay, let's talk sports. It's time for a staple of High on Sports. That is, of course, what's urinating us off. We're going to start as we always do with Von Erich. Von Erich, you got a doozy. I already see it. What's urinating you off?
Well, there's a new thing in the NBA this year. We already saw it happen with the NFL, and it's fans getting out of hand with their language and whatnot. And the NFL has already had like family-friendly zones set up throughout the stadium, and the NBA wants to do something similar, and they have started handing out warning cards colored yellow and red, kind of like the old soccer violations where you get a warning, and we got a picture of one of the warning cards up on the screen. You're being issued a warning that comments, gestures, and or behaviors that you have directed at players, coaches, game officials, and or other spectators constitute excessive verbal abuse and are in violation of the NBA Fan Code of Conduct. This is the first and only warning that you will receive if, after receiving this warning, you verbally abuse any player, coach, game official, or spectator, you will be immediately ejected from the arena without refund.
Oh, God.
This is horse shit. That's all I got to say.
Exactly. It urinates me off for the fact that, well, why would you even buy a ticket? You can sit at home and yell anything you want at the TV.
Yeah,
And,
why am I gonna come to a game if I have
And
to
be
sit
quiet.
there and be a goddamn church choir girl? Just sit there like this.
You almost said boy.
I did,
You
and that
almost
would have
called
been
yourself a
weird.
boy.
That would have been no good.
I gotta sit here like a
But-
church choir boy in a woman's body.
But well, you're at a game. You can't. How can they expect fans not to get loud? And sometimes, and you can't yell at refs
It's
or
not
other
a
fans.
volume card. You can get loud.
Well, no, but when
Look,
you're getting
you
loud, when you're getting loud, obscenities tend to come out.
If there was a loud card, you would have it.
I'm just saying, when you
If
get
there was-
loud, obscenities tend to come out.
If
And you're-
we had a
I'm
loud
gonna get a warning
card, I would hand it
because
to you.
a ref makes a horseshit call, and I call him out on it. They're gonna give me a warning. Or if I'm at a Browns Pittsburgh game and I'm sitting next to some dick ass Pittsburgh fan, and I call him a dick, I'm gonna get a warning.
I wish I had a little card to hand you.
This is stupid.
It just says shh.
And not just for today, for,
No, just to
randomly
always
when
have.
Ashley tends to
I'm
get
gonna
a
take,
little
I'm
loud.
gonna take one of our
When you
business
piss
cards.
me off and I start yelling,
I'm gonna take one of our business cards, flip it to the back side, and just write shh.
and then I'll just sit like
always
this.
have that. Just every time. You get a shush card. No, yeah, this would be. You're looking at this all wrong. This is like a badge of honor. Like you get to keep like the.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know if you keep that.
then you say one
No, but
more
it's cool.
peep and you get tossed.
But then it's cool. Like you show people like, yeah, I was at this game.
And I
They
said,
kicked me out 'cause I,
damn
like,
it.
decked the ref. Yeah, I mean, you're taking it too much. It's like, it's just gestures, behaviors that are directed at players. Like I'm sure it's not just like, oh damn, man.
That
Like,
can
screw
all be
you,
taken
LeBron.
under consideration as what you actually do next. Just a simple getting loud could probably get you kicked out after you get this warning.
I'm sure
card.
once you have this, they're like, you're on thin ice. Like we want
Yeah,
you to
and
not
you
be
give
here.
someone a funny look, you're
Although,
getting tossed.
There's a code of conduct. It's like the Apple
Right?
terms of
This
conditions
is
and stuff.
stupid.
You should have
It's
thoroughly
probably
read
because
the
little Johnny's mom
and
complained
code of conduct.
because she took him to a game and someone 10 rows away said the hell. And she's like, oh my God, little Johnny can't hear that. This is terrible.
Maybe
You know what? Screw little
Maybe I
Johnny.
just live in a fantasy world where I can picture us all just in suits and hats, just quietly enjoying the game. Like, oh, that Kyrie
What the
Irving
hell? I didn't even do. This is horseshit. I dropped it. It doesn't.
We'll put a picture of it on the
That's
site
a really
later.
that's a really long shush. I'm pretty sure there's like 30 H's in that.
Oh, that's
You might have been
great.
loud for a long time.
Exactly. He's
It's
catching
like
up. All right, I'm going to share mine now because it's something else that I think is going to make Ashley mad. It comes from Oregon, home of the Ducks.
oh, that's good.
And it comes to me from Oregon tight end Pharaoh Brown. First off, naming your kid Pharaoh, sweet. You're a good parent. All right, Pharaoh Brown he's going to be suspended for the Alamo Bowl. First of all, I was shocked when I found out Oregon's in the Alamo Bowl. I mean, really, like
That's
that
all they
low?
got?
That's all they got. That's all they got. It's ridiculous. Stanford and no. Oregon is Pac-12. Who else made it from the Pac-12? Stanford.
Stanford got the Rose Bowl bid.
Nobody else got anything from the
Don't
Pac-12.
think so. I mean, probably some crap bowl.
No. I'm talking BCS though.
Oh, BCS? No, they got
Stanford
Stanford,
Oregon
and that was
in
it.
the BCS bowl. I don't know, but
Because didn't they have like 3 losses?
it's Oregon. I think they finished in the number 10 or something. Anyways,
Not in the.
well, they're playing like Texas. They're playing Texas.
No, that's
in
not
the Alamo
terrible.
Bowl. Anyways, he's been suspended from the Alamo Bowl. Not that they really need him to win walking away from Texas. But he was suspended for his role in a campus-wide snowball fight that broke out, I guess, over the weekend. Now, apparently, like, what he, like... I should say it's not just gentle, like, tossing snow and
I
stuff.
think they went a little too far.
They reportedly threw them at drivers of cars and stuff like that.
That's a little too much.
Which,
So-
like, maybe tone it down.
Yeah, just keep the snowball fights to the people in the snowball fights and don't throw it at cars.
But what I don't like is that it said Pharaoh as well as other University of Oregon's students, including several football players.
Yeah.
He's the only one facing any kind of trouble. And it's that common age-old adage of everybody's speeding on the freeway and one of them getting pulled over. And you're going the same speed as everybody else.
And
that's called martial law. That means this crowd decided, guess what, cops? This is the new speed. So you can get with it or get out.
That happened to me. We were all going 70. Technically, it was only a 60, but literally everybody on the road was going 70 to 73-ish. I'm the one who got pulled over. You know how pissed off I was?
That's when mob rules take over. When everybody's going fast, that's the
You
new
let
speed.
it go.
Majority
You don't
rules.
just pick the closest car to you.
Exactly. And that's what this is. Everybody, a bunch of students and football players, I would say a bunch of football players, were involved in snowball fights. So this was maybe the one whose face they could make out, or maybe
Probably
the one that they could.
I guess there was a lot of
maybe
cell
the
phone
one
cameras.
that they grab. It's a
Right?
viral video, I guess, right now.
So he probably was on camera throwing one at a car. So that's probably why he got busted. Everyone else, they're like, if they weren't on camera, they're probably like, I was just throwing him at people. I didn't throw it at cars.
Well, and the coaches now set up meetings where they're going to meet with the driver to formally apologize and stuff. He already did, I guess.
There was multiple drivers though. There were like 10 of them.
There's only one that's getting to meet the team and stuff.
Oh, so now they're people are getting picked out of the crowd left and
I
right.
understand crowd mentality. If you get enough of people together and they decide a new rule or law, that takes into effect. That's called martial law. That's when mob mentality happens. Like after a hurricane, if everybody decides they're gonna loot, guess who's stopping them? Nobody, because you're now allowed to loot. That's how that works. That's how that works. It's the law. Everybody needs to read up on their state laws. Well, that's Oregon. Maybe they're different than Ohio. I don't know.
That was before video cameras were everywhere.
Right.
Recording everything you do.
I mean,
Exactly.
I'm all for the snowball fight, but don't throw it at cars. Someone's going to get into an accident.
Right.
And all I know is if you threw a snowball at my car, well
there was more than snowballs being
you
thrown.
ever get in big buckets of snow. There was a lot of damn snow in Oregon.
The thing was that they were taking buckets of snow and dumping it on people's windows as they were driving by, too. They would stop the car in the middle of the street, and they kept dumping it on it. And then the guy opened the door, and then they threw snow at his face.
He ought to shot someone.
Well, then he lost. He lost
Don't
the
throw snow in my
snowball
car.
fight. There's rules to a snowball fight. If you're not going to put up a fight, it's not my fault you lost.
I would have just ran him over. I'd have been like, you threw snow on my windshield. I couldn't see you.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I thought you were a snowman because there was
there
snow
are
everywhere.
no rules. In a campus-wide snowball fight, there are no rules.
Just
anymore.
keep it to the people on the... Don't throw it at cars. Man, use your head.
He won. I mean, that's the rules of a
Well,
snowball
clearly
fight.
he didn't because now he's not playing in the bowl game.
Clearly this driver won because he gets to go get like, or he gets,
He
who
gets
knows
to-
what he gets. Here's tickets to the
prob-
Alamo Bowl.
Right, he's
and,
probably
like,
getting a whole bunch of crap.
Exactly.
And what does
Screw this
Pharaoh
guy.
get? The king of the snowball fight? He misses his bowl game.
The Egyptian king of snowball fighting?
Yeah.
I just love that name.
Pharaoh.
That's great. I'll name my son that. Pharaoh Ralphie Jr. Let's talk Cavs real quick. Something I want to bring up, just real quick. I want to touch on, not even really analyzing the Cavs, barely about the Cavs at all. It's not really about the Cavs.
Hey,
Von
we got
Erich,
the last four.
you brought up the warning card and everything like that, and it's just funny because it made me think of someone this past week. Did you guys see the guy who literally walked onto the court?
Yeah!
He got onto the court and was just there. And had the, don't go Kyrie jersey
Yeah,
on.
it said Kyrie don't leave or something.
Kyrie don't leave us
stay.
or something, yeah. And I mean,
It was
geez.
just, it was like a teenager. I guess he just, literally walked up behind Kyrie, tapped him on the shoulder, unzipped his hoodie, and
yeah, and it said,
Kyrie, please stay. Or
Kyrie,
don't
please stay, or whatever. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like that, because that makes, I'm not even going to get into it. We'll do it another day when we have more time. I think people blame Mike Brown too much, and the players not enough, because I think we're in a league now where you coddle to the players.
Yeah.
We're not worried about criticizing. We're not going to criticize Kyrie, because all we are is worried that he's going to ditch us on national television. That's all we can think of.
God
It's
damn
like
you,
you were in
LeBron.
a-
See what you did to us, you bastard?
I always compare the LeBron James situation to a relationship. All right, we got dumped, we got our heart broken, our self-esteem is just dead. So now we go with any jerk. And
Yeah.
we just convince ourselves, I just don't want to lose him.
Yeah.
Basically, sometimes he hits me, but
screwed up emotion.
Not that Kyrie would hit a person. Kyrie's actually a very nice guy. It probably sounds like I'm hating on Kyrie a little more than I mean to, but I'm just saying in general.
Well, yeah.
If it wasn't Kyrie, it would have been somebody else.
Right?
The self-esteem of the city's so low now. This city needs to
is.
get confident. Put on some yoga pants, Just go walk around. Just, get your groove back, Cleveland.
We need
You're
to.
beautiful. You're beautiful. All right, it's time for 3 up, 3 down. I'm gonna start with the down because that's how this works. Down number 3, Rob Gronkowski tore his
Suck it.
ACL and MCL, and now he's out for the season. Take that, my brother's fantasy football team. Down number 2, Cleveland Browns. They lose late to the Patriots on bad pass interference call. And of course, drop the game by 1 point. Down number 1, the Ohio State University. Lose the Big Ten championship to Michigan State. I almost called him Mizzou, and I was like, that's not even the right state. Lose the championship to MSU.
you, Michigan
The streak is
State.
over, and the national title hopes are gone with it. Up number 3, the Sacramento Kings quietly landed small forward Rudy Gay from the Raptors last night. Up number 2, Tony La Russa, Joe Torre, and Bobby Cox. All voted unanimous Hall of Famers today by the MLB Expansion Committee. And up number 1, War Eagle Auburn and Florida State. They will now play in the BCS National Championship next month, immediately following that episode of High on Sports. It'll be, I think I'll return from holiday break. Yeah, It will be. We got one more show with you left in the 2013 season. So we will be here next week celebrating the holidays. Maybe I'll wear a little Santa hat. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You have to tune in to find out. So for Chris, for Von Erich, for Ashley, I'm Ralphie saying good night, everybody. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks for listening to High on Sports.
Would you print out another one?
Morning Show Central.
You can't shush me when I'm not talking.
.com.